Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Transformers Friday from the Toybox edition. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Earthrise Deluxe Class Trailbreaker. Let's get into it! Let's take a look at the figure in his alt mode and his accessories. And here we have Transformers Earthrise War for Cybertron Trilogy. Nice illustration of Trailbreaker there. Transformers Generations, Trailbreaker 8 and up, and then there's some stats there. I keep forgetting that they had these on the Earthrise instructions, but there's his stats. Of course, they're all in Cybertronian. Small fine legalese print there at the bottom. And then on the inside, it has nice, clearly printed instructions on how to transform said Transformer. So, that's always good. As far as the accessories go, he's got this. And it's molded in this black plastic. It's got this nice silver paint app on it. So, very, very cool looking. And then this transformation, well, for the most part, it looks okay, but this part right here with the arms, I really don't like that. That's just me. Your mileage, of course, may vary, but to me, it just detracts from the overall look of it. You know, especially look at that. You know, that doesn't look right. So we do have some silver paint apps here, and some, I wanted to say it was clear plastic, but it's not. It's the lights are painted there, I'm pretty sure. And silver paint app here. Nice Autobot Tampo. It's molded in this black plastic all the way through. It's got these colorful stripes on it. It says four-wheel drive on it. It does have some painted rims on the front and the back, although they are different types of wheels. These pin in and these pin on. So there's that. And you can see the wheels do have a nice little silver paint app there around them. It would have helped a little bit had they placed a cap or something on here, or maybe just even painted silver around the edges of the post there, or the clip. And we've got some paint apps going on back here, but that's mostly for robot mode. The underside, yeah, for the most part, I'm going to say it's clean, but it's just that really, really throws this figure for me. In its alt mode, at least. So, and then, oh, I forgot, he's got this little white stripe, pinstripe there as well. I don't know if I mentioned four-wheel drive on there, so there's that. And as far as the accessory goes, for in his alt mode, it just posts right here in this port on the top. And there you have it, my friends. There's a look at Trailbreaker in his alt mode. It's time for alt mode comparisons. And here we have the Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Earthrise Deluxe Class Trailbreaker with the Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Earthrise Deluxe Class Hoist and the Transformers Legacy Generation Selects Deluxe Class Lift Ticket. For our last set of alt mode comparisons, here we have the Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Earthrise Deluxe Class Trailbreaker with the Transformers Titans Returns Legends Class Bumblebee and the Amazon exclusive Generation Selects War for Cybertron Trilogy Earthrise Leader Class Alternate Universe Optimus Prime. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the comedy portion of our program where I will attempt to transform this Transformer. So first thing you want to do, at least the first thing I want to do is, let's pull this piece off. And then I think we'll start with untabbing the arms here. And you want to start by straightening them up, but you want to push them in just a little bit because you can see there's a tab right here and it locks in. Where does it lock in at? It locks in here somewhere, and it gets caught on stuff a lot as well. So this piece is removable, so you can pull that off to help end the transformation. And you want to unclip this part because it's clipped in all over the place. It's clipped in here. It's clipped in here. So let's see if we can unclip it without damaging anything, because that would be quite unfortunate. So there, you just wiggle it a little bit, I guess, like the song says. And then the legs will come loose, and you can just go ahead and flip those out. And they do kind of tab into place. Some molds do it better than others, but you can see there's a little tab here on the back of the thigh, and then another or tab, a slot rather, on the back of the foot there. So there's that. And then I think once we have that done, the hood part we can lift up, and then we can start moving the arms a little bit more. And right here on this hinge, and you want to be careful with it, is just fold that out. And here I am saying being careful with it, and I don't feel like I'm being careful with it. So, but where, like this part, it catches these tabs right here, and then there's some on the inside that catch on the inside of the leg. So once you've got that done, you can straighten this part up, and you can feel there's like a stop in there. So, and then this whole hood piece with the tires and everything just folds down till it stops. And the head, pull this piece all the way out. You can see it's on a double hinge here and here. And then you can just flip the head up. And sometimes it's hard, but it does clip. And when you move it forward all the way, it does clip into position. And then of course this piece is going to be floppy until we get it straightened up. So as far as this part goes, you want to hinge this up all the way, this red part. You want to hinge it up all the way. And then on this hinge, you want to start pulling it down. Now you'll see this big tab right here, and you've got this slot in here, and you just want to kind of move things around till those line up, and they will line up no matter how many times things come loose. They will line up. And it can be frustrating because you got things locked in and things don't want to lock in, and there you'll finally get it and just push it in there. So there's that. And you can move the arms back like that. But before you do that, you might want to rotate them so that the hands are facing the correct position. Then like just rotate that down, and you know, same over here on this side. Oops, and I still didn't line it up all the way. Look at me. So there you have that. And then these pieces on the back, they're on hinges and they just flip up. And now's the point where you make force field jokes if you want. And then this camper part piece, you can see like this T-shaped tab right there. There's a matching slot in this, and it also, the post here will go in the back there. So you just want to line all that up, which is not the easiest thing to do on camera, but I am trying. There we go. I think that's got it. There it goes. That does have it. So there's that. And if you don't want Trailbreaker to have this on him, or in his hand, on his arm, whatever you want to call it, it will store here on his back. But there you have it, my friends. Trailbreaker, all transformed. Let's take a look at the figure in his robot mode. And most everything we talked about in alt mode does carry over. The head, of course, we didn't see that before. It's got a blue paint app, it looks like, for the glasses, goggles, eyepieces, whatever you want to call it. And that looks like the rest of the head is molded in black plastic. We have this, and with this piece in place, it doesn't really move or hinge. This one moves a little bit, so there is that. And then he's got some molded red here at the knee, some silver paint apps here, and that's pretty much it for the paint that we didn't talk about already. Now, as far as his articulation goes, at the head, he can look up that high. He looks down barely. He might have a little bit of chicken neck. No, not really. He does have a little bit of waggle though. And if I can get my fingers in there, he might even do the full Exorcist. And how about that? He does the full Exorcist. At the shoulder, there is a 360 degree, well, I say it is not. That piece kind of catches, doesn't it? So it will not rotate 360 degrees because of this piece. And then at the shoulder, but you know, that kind of makes up for it a little bit. And of course, again, like we talked about in transformation, rotation 360 degrees worth of it here at the upper bicep. And then single hinged elbow gives you that much bend, so that is extremely good. Mushroom peg at the wrist gives you 360 degrees worth of rotation. At the waist, 360 degrees of rotation. I'll move the arms up out of the way. And he can give you the full splits, it looks like plus. So a little past the full splits. He can kick forward that far. I can't even kick forward that far. And then back that far, there seems to be something, there's some kind of internal stop there that stops it there. So at the bottom of the hip, the top of the thigh, you can see there's a mushroom peg in there, 360 degrees of rotation with it. At the knee, it is double hinged due to transformation, of course, and it will give you that much bend, so that's pretty good. As far as ankles go, all he has is interior rocker, that much. So there you have it, my friends. a look at Trailbreaker in his bot mode. It's time for my favorite part of a Transformers review, robot mode comparisons. And here we have the Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy, Earthrise Deluxe Class Trailbreaker, with the Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy, Earthrise Deluxe Class Hoist, and in the back, the Transformers Legacy Generation Selects Deluxe Class Lift Ticket. For our last set of robot mode comparisons, here we have the Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy, Earthrise Deluxe Class Trailbreaker, with the Transformers Titans Returns Legends Class Bumblebee, and the Walmart exclusive Netflix Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy, Leader Class Optimus Prime. For final thoughts on the Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy, Earthrise Deluxe Class Trailbreaker, I have to say, for the most part, this is a passable version of the character. First time I've owned it, so, you know, there was that excitement for me when I first bought this thing. And by no means is it horrible. I just think there was either, I don't know if it was laziness in design or just trying to fit it into a specific price point. And that's, knowing Hasbro, that's probably more likely of the two. Or it could be a combination of both. And by that I'm referring to the panels on the back of the arms. You know, I'm sure they thought, well, we can sucker those guys into thinking that it's a homage to the original toy. And, you know, and some people may feel that way. I feel like, you know, that was a kind of a necessary evil back then that could have been fixed with the modern engineering, but they opted not to do that. So, and the only real other thing about robot mode is, you know, the emptiness in the back of the legs, but, you know, that's Hasbro mainline. So now the alt mode is a completely different version, or a completely different thing, a different animal. And I don't mean that by different than the original design. I mean that in that I don't like it. I don't feel it's passable. I think the way that they did the arms, the way that they folded up in the alt mode was kind of lazy and just unjustified and unforgivable, because it really, you know, like the legs and stuff, the parts that showed from the side view, that's forgivable. But what they did with the arms, just to me personally, I think could have been done better and should have been done better. But that's just my opinion. Your mileage, of course, may vary. But, you know, when I first got this guy, you know, I was super happy. First time I had a Trailbreaker, and for, you know, in Earthrise, it really was, for a lot of those characters, the first time I had ever owned them, because it had been, you know, I feel like it's been a while since, you know, G1 versions of stuff were available, and they really did dig deep into the G1 stuff for War for Cybertron Trilogy, and even some in Legacy, or the Legacy Trilogy, I guess is what it is now. So, but again, like I said, you know, it's exciting. I like the robot mode. My stuff stays in robot mode for Transformers 99% of the time anyway, so I guess there's that. this figure's old enough you either already own it or I may be thinking about getting it off the secondary market. I don't know if people are still interested in more for Cybertron Trilogy stuff or not anymore. But, you know, that's my feelings on this version of the character. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I am now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's our wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.